Starting.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, thank you, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the March 2025 Seattle Women in Tech Consortium event. Today, our event is Why Adventure Matters, and we have co-founders Allison Fleece and Danielle Thornton. My name is Sylvie. I'm one of the leaders here of the Switch group. It was built by a group of community-focused volunteers who want to make a real impact in the Seattle area. We strive to put Seattle on the map, as a place for women in tech and help connect women and allies working in the industry for support, job opportunities, and building community. I want to give a huge shout out to our volunteers for their help in organizing and promoting this event. And to Allison and Danielle, thank you for graciously volunteering your time and expertise. And thank all of you for being here today. Since our inception, we have been interested in hearing from you, our community, what's important to you. We really want to learn what you'd like to hear from our speakers. So we'll drop a survey link in the chat so that you can suggest future event topics and speakers. Today, as I mentioned, we're thrilled to have Allison and Danielle join us for this speaker series. They have prepared an excellent presentation, so I won't take up any more of your time with introductions. And Allison and Danielle, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today to talk about why more than ever adventure matters. Thank you, Sylvie, for having us and all of you for welcoming us. So yes, we're Allison and Danielle. We are the founders of Woe Travel. We're based in Jersey City, New Jersey, and Munich, Germany. So Woe is a boutique adventure travel company that was born in 2013 on Mount Kilimanjaro when Danielle and I had our own life awakening moment on the summit. And today, 12 years later, we are curating adventures on all 7 continents and have shared our style of adventuring with over 3,000 people. And we're partnered with over 267 local women and guides in destinations around the world to share the power of adventure. So our agenda for today, we are going to go over why adventure, our community, a little bit about Woe, your next adventure, and of course we'll have some Q&A at the end, so be sure to stick around till the end so we can answer your questions.
Hi, everyone. Like Allison mentioned, I'm Danielle, the other founder of Woe, coming to you from the other side of the world in Germany. Thank you so much for showing up and taking interest in something that is so near and dear to our hearts. As you might already know, women currently make up around 35% of the tech workforce worldwide. And believe it or not, in the early 2000s, just 20 years ago, it was only 9%. To me, this shows what a strong and driven community you are. I mean, you all know firsthand the tech industry is fast-paced, high pressure, and stressful, and can lead to serious burnout. Having community like this one, where you lift each other up and you're looking out for one another, makes such a huge difference. And that's one of the main reasons we're here to share our experience about the power of disconnecting in nature. So let's do a poll to get a sense of where y'all are all at now. How many PTO days did you take in 2024? And I think Sarah or somebody is going to help us drop that in the chat.
Sylvie, if you can't do it, if everybody could just put their responses in the chat,
Yes.
I will make sure the next poll works.
So 0 to 5 days, did you take 6 to 10? Did you take 11 to 15? Or did you take over 16 days?
Oh, there it is.
Awesome.
Ooh.
40.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. Okay. Seeing some numbers come through. Okay. Cool. Cool. So we can go back to the, I don't know if, am I seeing, we can go back to the presentation, I guess. If the, are you guys all seeing the poll? Yes, okay, sorry.
All right, coming up with the presentation. All right.
Great. So I'm on slide 7, I think. Yes. Okay. So some people are taking a lot, some people are taking none. Um, well, according to a study published in Harvard Business Review, researchers found of the 749 women in the study, those who took time away and traveled just 2 times per year had better health outcomes. And not only is stepping away and creating space for yourself better for your physical health, it's also linked to better performance in the workplace. In an internal research study by Ernst & Young, they found employees who use more vacation days ended up with better performance reviews. And in another study, it was even suggested that people who take more than 10 vacation days a year are twice as likely to get a raise or a bonus. And then for all of I think I'm on page 9. Sylvia, I don't know if you, yeah, great. So for all of the managers on the call, EY also suggests that the more vacation hours people take, the better their work reviews are and the less likely they'll be to leave the company. So really a win-win for everyone. The TLDR is taking time out is imperative to personal and professional well-being and growth.
I love that stat. Yes, it is so important to leave your desk and devices and immerse yourself in new environments and nature. Another study done by National Geographic showed that hiking for just 30 minutes reduces stress hormones up to 28%. And the more you walk and the longer you hike, the more effective it is at decreasing stress. Who knew it could be that easy and fun, right? Last year, All Trails conducted the first ever global nature study and found that 2 nights in nature was 50% more powerful at improving well-being than mindfulness and meditation techniques. Considering wellness is a $5.6 trillion industry, it's pretty amazing to think that it could really be as simple as just stepping outside. And there are so many unexpected life skills that are learned in the outdoors. It teaches resilience, collaboration, and my personal favorite is creativity. Lin-Manuel Miranda is quoted as saying, "It's no accident that the best idea I've ever had in my life came to me on vacation. The moment my brain got a moment's rest, Hamilton walked into it." You see, taking time away gives you time to dream, learn, and create new ideas. And adventure especially helps us develop grit and resilience. And these are skills that apply to our personal and professional lives. So imagine being forwarded a handful of resumes to review and a candidate listed summiting Mount Kilimanjaro as one of her accomplishments. That alone says so much about her work ethic, and it speaks volumes about what they are capable of achieving when they put their mind towards something. These are valuable skills and they're worth investing in. And that ripple starts with an adventure is something that we've experienced firsthand. We've actually even coined a term to describe it. We call it the outside effect. So what is the outside effect? It's reimagining your comfort zone. You might have thought you were a 4-star hotel type of person, but have you camped under a sky full of stars? When you realize you're capable of more than you thought you were, it opens a whole new world of possibilities. The outside effect is how Mother Nature forces us to let go of expectations and the things we can't control and to actually embrace them. It allows us to unleash our creativity, to problem solve, and to look at things differently. And last but not least, the outside effect is what happens when we really, truly disconnect. And only when we disconnect from our phones, our to-do list, and the hustle and bustle of everyday life can we really connect with nature, one another, and probably most importantly, parts of ourselves that we've lost touch with. And who better to speak to this than those who have experienced it firsthand? So now I'd love to pass it over to our community and some fellow women in tech and Seattleites to share a little bit about their personal journeys. So, Sarah, are you able to?
Hello. Everybody, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I am a new WOA convert. I went on a trip with Sylvie to Iceland this past September, and it truly was a life-changing event for me. I really didn't realize I was burnt out until I went on the trip, and we had a totally disconnected experience for 7 days. Turned my Teams messages off, turned my Outlook alerts off, and it shifted my entire perspective. I'm a toddler mom and have a husband and 2 dogs, and I'm on the sales side of Microsoft, so I'm traveling for work 2 or 3 times a month. And didn't realize how exhausting that was, really truly making just my soul. I had grown up being in the outdoors and hadn't really prioritized that in my personal life, after getting married and being super involved in Microsoft things. So having the ability to be in Iceland, totally embracing the culture, embracing just the beautiful landscapes across Iceland, was a game changer for me. I highly, highly recommend it. I immediately came back and wanted to be involved. So I'm now on the board of the nonprofit associated with WOA, the Carabiner Collective, which we'll talk about later. And I am so thrilled to be a part of this community, and happy to talk further with any questions or experiences people want to take a try on.
Yay. Okay. Is Tori on the call? I don't know if she
tried to get in touch with her and had not gotten a thumbs up. So I know you guys have worked closely with Tori, so feel free to admin for her.
So Tori's the one on the end, holding the blue hat and her pole, and she's been a huge part of Women at Microsoft and kind of spearheaded the partnership with WOA and Women at Microsoft. She's been to Peru with us. She's been to the Lost City in Colombia with us. And I don't want to speak for her, but she has a lot of wonderful things to say about those experiences. But I think, Sylvie, you are up next after Tori, I believe. Yeah, there you are in Iceland.
Yes. So going to Iceland was my first trip with WOA. I was originally signed up to go to Peru, and the year before, and I couldn't make it. And I've always wanted to go to Iceland. I had some friends who had gone there and had told me, when you go, you have to go and be in nature. Just don't stick to the path, the normal tourist path. And so this was a perfect opportunity for me. At first, I was a little hesitant to go because I'm I think at least 10, 20 years older than all the people in the group, and I wasn't in the best shape. But that helped me. That helped me get into shape a little bit more. And the trip was so wonderful. I just met some wonderful people. The nature was beautiful. Landscape was beautiful. It was an unforgettable experience. Really, really top of my list. And I think that from now on, I'll take a lot more adventure travel.
Yay! Thanks, Sylvie. And then Mary.
She is one of our group adventure leaders. So we call them gals, but she has so much experience in the outdoors, and she helps lead all of the groups. So.
Hi, everyone. I am calling in from Ballard. No, I live in Ballard, but I'm calling in from my office in Lower Queen Anne. I have been helping lead groups for WOA Travel since 2023, and I have loved it so much. One of my favorite parts about my work with WOA is meeting new people and also supporting women as they push themselves out of their comfort zones, and seeing that sort of growth and camaraderie that happens on the trip. And I also just love eating all the local snacks on the trips I go on. It's so fun. And I think I want to share something I've noticed in my time with WOA is that WOA trips are truly for everyone. I think a big misconception about outdoor adventure or adventure travel is you have to be a certain type of person to climb Kilimanjaro or to trek through Peru, and people can put off these experiences oh, first I gotta go to the gym and I gotta get myself ready and then I can sign up for Kilimanjaro. But truly, you are fully capable of doing these adventures now. On my last Kilimanjaro trip, we had one of our hikers who had never hiked before. Kilimanjaro was literally her first hike ever. And she totally crushed it. She had such a great time. She pushed herself out of her comfort zone. And when she came back to the States, she was texting me about like other trips and other hikes she wants to do. So it like can really shift your worldview and show yourself that you're a lot more strong and capable than you give yourself credit for. So I love that part of it. And I also love like the great teamwork and camaraderie that you build on a trip. It is when you are doing something hard or hiking through the jungle and everyone is coming together to support one another, it can really build like lasting friendships and also deepen the friendships that you already have if you go on a road trip with one of your friends. Yeah, it's so awesome. On this last Columbia trip I did just in February. It was hard, like it was hot, we were hiking through the jungle, but everyone was so supportive and hyping each other up and sharing snacks and moleskin and all sorts of stuff. And it was like a really cool thing to see. Yeah, but 10 out of 10 can recommend. I'm biased, obviously, because I'm a little gal. But if you're thinking about doing adventure travel, like now is the time to do it. Like don't put it off. Yeah. And don't feel like you have to wait till you're like the type of person who climbs Kilimanjaro or hikes through the mountains of Peru, because you're already that person. You just may not realize it yet. So, but if you have any questions, let me know.
I love that.
Oh, thanks, Mary. Thank you, everyone. That was awesome. Yeah, it doesn't get any better than hearing it directly from the source. So adventure has been Danielle and our I don't think that was right grammar. It has been our lives for the last 12 years. When Danielle and I met, we were both working in New York. We were definitely overworked and looking for something, but we didn't know what that something was. We actually bonded while planning our trip to Kilimanjaro. And then when we learned that we were going to be a group of all women, we ended up connecting our climb to a local women's vocational school at the base of the mountain, very similarly to how people link charities to like marathons and triathlons. We did the same thing. And then when we summited, we learned a few hours later we had reached our fundraising goal for the school. So they're like these two parallel peaks that we achieved at the same time, all in support and connection of women. And we looked at each other at 5,895 meters high, and basically we were like, yeah, we have to continue to share this experience with more people, and share the transformational power of adventure that we had just experienced and replicate it all over the world. And that's what we did. Whoa was born in that moment. So you never know what saying yes to an adventure might lead you to. So that's where we were. Here we are today. We, along with having grown our adventures to all 7 continents, our work has also been featured by some of the world's most recognized and respected media outlets, Travel and Leisure, New York Times, National Geographic, and even Oprah have all sung our praises. And we'd be remiss not to call attention to our partnerships, certifications, and awards. We received our women-owned certification, which was a pretty long process to obtain, so we're very proud of that. We are active ambassadors and members of the Adventure Travel Trade Association, where we have served as delegates in Switzerland, Japan, and Panama at the World Summits. And we are a proud member of 1% for the Planet. And just this past year, we were rated as a 10 best adventure tour operator by USA Today. We were up against some of the largest companies in the industry, like Intrepid, but we were by far the most boutique company in the running. And we're all women at that.
Yes. So we're really proud of that one. I mean, tourism is a $9.9 trillion industry. So what have we done as a boutique women-owned company to stand out? Well, we found a special recipe that makes our adventures that much more special. And it comes from the combination of doing something outside of your comfort zone with a supportive, like-minded community for a larger purpose. And so what does that look like in the field? It's creating a safe environment where people feel comfortable to stumble and grow together. It's supporting women-owned businesses, which in turn helps local communities thrive. And it's taking action to leave places better than we found them. For us, sustainability is fundamental to what we do. If we don't protect these places, they won't be there for us to enjoy for years to come. And this is something that we've personally witnessed in the past 11 years that we've been climbing Kilimanjaro. We've seen the glacier on the summit shrinking. Each time I'm up there, it's smaller and smaller, and it's heartbreaking. I was just there last year with Mary, and it's definitely something that you notice. To see these places, it's just so powerful. You fall in love with them, and to love them is to want to protect them. So this is why we're members for 1% for the Planet, which means that we donate 1% of all of our revenue to environmental causes. We've planted over 3,000 trees and counting. And we also calculate the carbon footprint of all of our adventures and business operations and offset it for our travelers and employees. And sustainability, especially when it comes to adventure tourism, extends beyond protecting the environment. It's about supporting fair labor, communities, and diversity. And it's why we started our sister nonprofit, the Carabiner Collective.
Yay! So with everything that we've been talking about, we know that there are still some very serious challenges in our industry, like lack of representation and financial barriers to entry. And we know it's our responsibility working in this space to be the change that we want to see. And so that's why we started our nonprofit, the Carabiner Collective. And the goal of the collective is to build a stronger, more diverse outdoor community where everyone feels welcome. And how we do that and how we achieve this is by recognizing and celebrating emerging leaders in the outdoors and amplifying their voices through award programming that we call Trailblazer Awards. So our Leader Award supports female guides and provides opportunities for them to advance their education and expertise in primarily male-dominated spaces like mountain guiding. Our Dada Award provides opportunities for local women in the regions we travel to join our experiences. And this has been such a powerful and integral part of WOA since day one. We've been having women join us from the Kilimanjaro region ever since we first went up Kilimanjaro. There's nothing quite like hiking a mountain with someone who has lived next to it their entire life. The effects are totally endless, from the confidence it instills and ripples out to their own communities, to shifting perceptions of what local women can do in communities that don't traditionally see women in these spaces. And then our Rise Award celebrate emerging women leaders right here in our own cities and communities by removing financial barriers for them to experience the transformational power of adventure. So.
Wonderful. So let's use the chat again and ask another question. What is your dream adventure? Drop it in the chat. Hopefully you've gotten some inspiration from the slides that you saw before.
Like it can be destinations, activities, you know, like regions of the world, activities, anything.
Yeah. Patagonia.
Ooh.
Antarctica and hiking there.
The PCT.
Need to change it.
Awesome. So cool.
Cool.
There's a lot of, well, we
Definitely
do.
option one.
That's my bad. I was trying to do it too.
Option one.
Oh,
Oh, this is awesome.
yeah.
Option one is amazing in the spring.
Okay, I can get behind this marathon in France with wine tasting. Okay, well, super cool. So Sylvie, I'm going to talk a little bit about our Adventure Selects, just to give a highlight of where we go, what we do, so you guys can get a good sense. We put together a few Adventure Selects to give examples of, you know, the types of activities and difficulty. So starting off with the Galapagos. So I think that everybody for the most part, if you like water and you like tropical places, will like the Galapagos. So incredible wildlife, snorkeling, surfing, island hopping, boating excursions, a truly, truly phenomenal experience. It's rated just 2 out of 5 on the difficulty scale. So you'll see on the couple ones that we're showing you, there are different difficulty ratings. I was on the Galapagos adventure in April of last year, and totally a core memory for me for the rest of my life. I love animals. I love being in water. I consider myself a fish. So just truly life-changing experience. And again, 2 out of 5. So pretty much for, don't have to be like super, mountain mama or anything to show up for that one, or any of them, to be honest. So Lost Coast, very cool introduction to backpacking, Northern California, black sand beaches, world-class hiking, super duper remote, amazing views and cliffs and wildlife, and some of the most stunning views you'll wake up to. You get to camp right on the beach or right next to it. So a little bit higher of a rating just because it is backpacking. You are like moving every day. But again, as Mary mentioned, all of our adventures are accessible. Some might require a little bit more training leading up to them, but all meant to be accessible for you. And then we're going to move on to the Grand Canyon, which goes right alongside the Lost Coast. It is rated just slightly higher in difficulty than the Lost Coast, and that is due to the descent and the ascent in the canyon, but and the longer elevation. The longer mileage and elevation gains, but still an introduction to backpacking adventure. We do take a lesser known route into the canyon. Both of these adventures are kind of like long weekends. They're only 4 days of hiking, 6 days total, a Thursday to a Tuesday, but they tend to be, just 4 days hiking, 3 nights camping, like totally approachable. And then we actually just did a call with our welcome call with our Grand Canyon group last night. And it was so cool how many people on the call had been to the canyon rim, but like when they got to see it from up there, they were like, yeah, I want to come back sometime in my life and go down and descend into the canyon. And it was just really cool to see how they all bonded over that, and that they're going to finally get to see a place that few people get to. And then, of course, we have to call attention to Kilimanjaro. This is where it all got started. So this is the ultimate summit, sense of accomplishment. When you think of like mountain and summiting, like this is it. It's one of the 7 summits. Incredible scenery. You get to trek through 5 climate zones. There's a strong connection to the local Tanzanian culture. As Mary said, she really likes to try all the local snacks and get to know our teams over there. And it's really cool because you get to celebrate your accomplishment while on safari, viewing animals in their beautiful natural habitats. And this is a 5 out of 5. So this is kind of as hard as it gets for WOA. But as Mary mentioned, even Kilimanjaro is within reach. And then we have to call attention to because we are talking to Seattleites, and we know you guys live among the mountains, but we have to call attention to our mountaineering trip. This is our one and only mountaineering adventure. It is Cotopaxi in Ecuador. It's a 3-summit challenge. So you kind of work your way up to the summit of Cotopaxi. You get to spend time in haciendas and eat beautiful food and meet beautiful people. And then you spend 1 night at the refugio before doing your summit push. That's where the mountaineering piece comes in, where you strap the crampons on and the harnesses, and you do your summit attempt. But it also shares with Kilimanjaro that summit and that sense of accomplishment. So that's just a little sample size of where we go and what we do. But as you can see with all of them, it kind of started with 2 out of 5 up to 5 out of 5 in difficulty, but again, all within reach. Okay, so I'm getting through this stuff real fast. So for all of you, we have a $250 gift to take off any cost of, you can take $250 off any of our adventures. Super easy code to remember it by. You can just use Switch. And then we didn't want to leave here today without drawing attention to our private adventures. So these are open to anyone and everyone, your families, partners, moms, dads, anyone, and they are on your own timeline. Our private adventures are focused on curating experiences tailor-made for you. We even plan adventures to destinations that aren't listed on our website. So if you're looking for a trip with your people on your timeline and your terms, let us know. We'd love to help bring that to life for you. And drum roll, last but not least, something you're hearing here first and that we're currently building out behind the scenes, a super exciting, one-of-a-kind Women in Tech event. We're bringing together women leaders in tech, just like you, and female university students in STEM for a very different kind of summit on Kilimanjaro. It's happening in 2026. And if you're interested in being involved or joining the summit in any capacity, we'll drop a link in the chat, and just please leave your email there, and we'll keep you updated on the announcements for the Women in Tech Summit and the launches surrounding that. Whew, okay, so that was a lot. So thank you so much for having us here today. It's been a real pleasure sharing this space with you. There are ways to contact us. You can follow us on Instagram. You can join our newsletter to keep up to date with things. And then also here's our email. I think, Sarah, I don't have the chat open right now, but I think we can share all of that in the chat. And now we can do some Q&A. Yay.
Go for it, Brian.
Hey, yeah, so real quick, sorry. Ross had advised there was maybe also an opportunity to do Benevity matches for the conversation. I don't know, Sylvie, if for this session. Yes, would love to figure that out as well.
Yes, I will drop the link for the Carabiner Collective Benevity page.
Perfect.
I will do that now.
That's a great thought, Brian. Thank you for reminding us.
Hey, I still have like 10,000 more left to get Microsoft to give for me, so let's do it.
All right. All right.
So
I cannot see the chat either, so I'm wondering if there are any questions in the chat, or if anyone has any questions for Allison and Danielle, or any question about the Carabiner Collective charity.
It's up, yeah. Woo. Sorry, we didn't mention that in the presentation. I know Benevity is Microsoft. Is it any other company, or is it mainly a Microsoft giving platform, Sarah?
I think they work for other companies, but that's just how we use our donation program.
Yeah. So we are a vetted and registered nonprofit in the Benevity platform. So we appreciate any donations. Thank you so much for asking about that. And then,
thank you. Thank you.
Well, actually, on top of that, beyond just the and I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn. I do work a lot with our Microsoft Give, so I'm familiar with the. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. Just being on this call, I think we can say that we donated the time, right? We can actually just put the time for this presentation. Is that correct, Sarah?
Correct.
Yep. Yes. That's
Perfect.
Such a generous company. Microsoft is doing great things.
Other questions in the chat that we can answer?
No questions per se in the chat. There's lots of excitement about people in the Seattle area getting together. One thing I did want to mention on behalf of Allison and Danielle that they didn't super highlight is the fact that you will not be roughing it on any of these trips. Yes, you are in nature and you're getting to experience the culture, but you get top-notch food, top-notch accommodations. I haven't personally done it. Mary can speak more to it, but you're not carrying, your massive tent. You have like a team double the size of the hikers on Kilimanjaro taking care of your every want and need. So even in the toughest climates, you have a whole team taking care of you. So, as you're getting acclimated to altitude or heat, you are going to have the best of the best experiences. You're going to be fully immersed in the culture and the nature of any destination you go to, but you're also going to get amazing drinks and experiences along with it.
Very true, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you. And somebody asked if this is only for women in the US, and no, we have, actually, that's a great question. We have a lot of diversity on our adventures. While we do have a big clientele from the US, just naturally, we often get people from all the different countries, Europe, Australia, South Africa, like we get people from all over. we had a lot of age diversity on our adventures too, which Sylvie touched upon. So there isn't just like one kind of age demographic. It really, we've seen people as young as 18 who she was there with her mom. So she was like there with her sister and her mom. She was 18 years old. And then another woman was there with her mom, and her mom was 72. So we had a 72-year-old and an 18-year-old all on the same adventure, and everything in between. So like that's the other thing I wanted to.
Yeah, in our first International Women's Day Kilimanjaro climb, that's something that we've been doing. It was our first big adventure in 2014. We had women from 11 different countries on our climb.
Wow.
And that's on the roof of Africa together on International Women's Day.
I know. I think Danielle and I were like, how did they find us in Estonia?
Yeah, we're big in Estonia.
We do have a question in the chat from Amber about limitations for age for kids. I guess I would speak to that from both the WOA trips as well as the private adventures.
Yeah, so scheduled departures, which is what you'll find on our website. When you go to like a trip page, you'll see like the scheduled departures. Those are all group trips, so those are for anyone 18 and older. But for private adventures, it really depends on the location. Like Antarctica, you have to be like 12 to be able to go on the ship. But yeah, so for private trips and kind of one-off trips and curated things, it really just depends on the location. There are some age restrictions, you know, certain places, but kind of a case-by-case basis. We've had children, you know, we've planned trips for people with kids, not too young of kids, but like, you know, with their families.
Thank you.
Yay.
Last call for questions.
Another thing I wanted to just mention is if you go on our website, we have like a very thorough packing list section. So even if you're just excited about wanting to like dream of these adventures and you don't know where to start and you're just getting your feet wet with it all, like looking through our packing list, it can seem a little bit like, oh my gosh, but it turns out that a lot of people already have a lot of the gear and a lot of the stuff that you would need for these trips. And it's just kind of fun to look at. So definitely like utilize our packing lists, and we spend a lot of time on those, and use them more than just like a checkbox. Like we put a lot of like thought and energy into like giving you the why behind everything. So, you know, that's something to explore as well.
I have to mention that that's what I did actually to get excited with the trips, with the different trips. I did look at the different packing lists and started like looking at the REI catalog and all that stuff. So that was a great way to get started. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Well, we hope that this was a great motivation for you to go outdoors and start your own adventure trip. And then we have all kinds of links in the chat, and I hope you save them to contact the organization. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Mary and Sarah. Thank you very much for putting us all in touch and helping facilitate this meeting. Thank you, everyone. You all have a good day, and we'll talk next month. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll send everything in an email as well, so if you didn't get it.
Yay. Great. Thank you. Take care.
Yay. Anyone? Okay. Oh, yay. Thank you, Mary. Oh, thanks, Mary. Thanks, Sylvie.
Thank you. I'm going to stop I can't stop the recording, so we'll have to leave the meeting. I hope that then it will be great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.